Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us John Medina, who's the founder of John Medina Buys Houses. John, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me on.
You're welcome. You know, sometimes you look at a company, and way back before we knew what Amazon was, I'm sure people scratched their head and was like, what's an Amazon? Well, I think we're pretty clear on what your company does. John Medina Buys Houses. So give us a little bit of your background and your entrepreneurial journey, and then let's dive into your company and how you serve your clients.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got a little bit of an interesting background. I used to be a plumbing contractor. So I got into plumbing when I was probably about 19 years old. And I did that for, over 35 years or so. And but really early on, I always when I got into plumbing, I always wanted to have my own business, right? I never got into plumbing to the main goal from day one was figure this out and go on your own, because I didn't really want to have a job. I wanted to be on my own. So anyways, I did that. And then, like after about 3-4, maybe about 4 years, I went ahead and went on my own, and I got a license and I took off. So I did that all the way till about, 2013 was my last year in plumbing. But what happened was about 2009, I started, I was always interested in real estate. So I started doing a lot of studying about how to buy houses, and I wanted to have some rentals, but, I didn't want to pay retail. I wanted to kind of buy them wholesale. So kind of took some courses. There's a lot of education out there. And I was just trying to figure out, with the amount of money I had, how could I buy the most houses with this money that I had? Should I do it here in Los Angeles, where I'm from? Should I go to Phoenix? Should I go, just started a lot of research. So anyways, I got really interested in that. And then about 2012, I decided to take some action, because it took me about 3 years to kind of, I was scared like most people. I didn't know what to do. And I finally just took action. I bought a house here locally in Los Angeles, in a town called Wilmington. And next thing you know, I just kind of bought 4 houses, from 2012 to 2013. And I was like, man, I like doing this more. I like doing plumbing. So come 2014, I just basically said, you know what, closing the plumbing shop up. And I went right into, full-time real estate investing. Just kind of burned the boat.
Yep.
And went forward. So that's where I'm at.
It's interesting. You say burn the boat. I love that example. The Cortez story of, they go to the island and they get up there to attack, and then he turns around and says, burn the boats. And they're like, what? Well, the lesson there is we're focused. We're all in, and we're not going to have a plan B. So you could have had 1 foot in the plumbing world and 1 foot in the real estate, and who knows what else could have come up. But that singular focus really is a great business principle. And when you now are running your real estate company of buying houses, that's what you do. And so I think that's a really neat focus. So when you're working with your clients, what kind of houses do you buy, and what kind of clients have the need to sell the house to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've bought all kinds of houses over the years, from the one that's really, really run down, and it's just like the worst one on the block, to actually some that are actually real nice. It just might need some paint and carpet, which sometimes nowadays that's actually an easy way to go, right? But it seems like we always kind of get the ones that need a lot of work. Our typical client, most of the time they might have inherited the house from a family member. They might have lived in the house for a long time, or they're elderly themselves, and they're getting to the point to where they want to move into like maybe a assisted living, or they want to move in with one of their loved ones. So basically, the process is always the same. We buy houses directly from homeowners. We pretty much use a real simple contract. We pay cash. We can close on a timeline that's comfortable with you. As little as 7 days. I mean, that's really pushing it, but up to, if you need 60 days, we're okay with that. So we kind of, the closing date is always flexible, because it has to be right for the homeowner. And and then typically, we buy as is. We always say take what you want with you and leave the rest behind. and there's really no contingencies, or it's just a real simple process. We kind of have like a white glove service. So once they sign the contract, we pay for all the closing costs, and we send the closing agent from the escrow company out to you, and we pretty much can meet you at your house, Starbucks. You can come to the office, anything that's easy for you. And we basically sign the paperwork, and then at the time frame that the date you choose to close on, we make it happen for you. And then you know that you're going to be able to move on and not have to worry about all the stuff you deal with a like a traditional real estate transaction where there's contingencies and the loan might not work or the people back out. Because a lot of those traditional sales through agents, there's a lot of contingencies, and it's not guaranteed. So we like to offer like a guaranteed closing for people, make it easy on them.
Yeah, that takes the convenience to a whole new level in real estate, because I spent 10 years in the mortgage industry back in the early 2000s, and I know that any one little thing or hiccup can cause all kinds of trouble. But if you're saying cash and fast close and quick and easy and paying closing costs, boy, that really does bring a lot of convenience to the table.
Yeah, and it does. And then some people, we had a meeting this morning, and some people need money.
Yeah.
They need money up front. And in a traditional sale, I've never heard of a realtor taking money out of his pocket, laying it down for the people and say, hey, here's $5,000, $10,000 to help you out, and I'll get it back from you when we sell the house, when I sell your house for you. It just doesn't happen that way, right? They just don't provide that service. So we do that a lot too. We provide people money because they need it, and we're aware of that. So
what kind of situations would someone be in? Like, everyone, quote unquote, needs money. So we know that, but What are some specific situations where, the traditional way would be, I need to sell my home. I've got a job starting in a few months or whatever the case is, and I'm going to list it and go to the local real estate agent or someone to go to church with, and they're going to list it. Well, now you've got open houses. I got to leave the house and I've got to wait time. And then that's the traditional way. What are some of the situations that would come up where they would think, wow, John could really help me out because of the speed and ease?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that comes to mind that just happened, this morning in our meeting, somebody needs money because they have two mortgages. For some reason, these people have two mortgages, and I think it might have been a rental, and the people moved out. Now all of a sudden it's like they lost their rental income, and they're like, oh boy, this house is vacant, and we have two mortgages, and I think they're maybe they're at a position where they can't afford two mortgages. Other people are in positions where it's like we get this a lot. Being in California, people are moving to Texas comes up a lot. There's people moving out of California, and they need money to move, and the only way that they're going to be able to afford to move if they get some money up front. So we have no problems helping people move because, we're basically figure that's part of our service. So other times too, I've even had situations, I think I mentioned earlier, there's people that need to go into assisted living. They have elderly parents that can no longer be, live on their own. And especially if the family members live out of town, moms or dads by themselves, and they show up and they're like, oh my goodness, we have to make a decision fast. Mom and dad have this equity here. But it's just equity. They need to tap into it, and they need to get them pretty, rapidly into a place where, they can be taken care of, and and they need to get back to their lives with their own families. How's that work? Well, generally money. And if they don't have the money, we could provide that money and help them, with that situation. So there's a lot of stuff that's happened over the years.
Yeah, that's a really good scenario to bring up, which is the assisted living or having rental properties or having that need for the cash flow before closing. Because like we were talking about delays, you list a house and it takes, who knows whatever market you're in, it could take some time to get that offer. And then the buyer has to get their approval, and anything can happen. To be totally transparent, I literally got a call yesterday from doing a line of credit on my personal house, and it literally has taken 6 months from start to finish. And it's like, I don't know why it would take 6 months. And there weren't really hiccups. It's just like, send this paper, that paper. It takes time. So when someone needs the money and they can hear from you, we can close quick and cash and no, contingencies. That's a really big service that you're providing for your clients.
Yeah, and it is, Mike, and it is a service, and that's the thing. That is a service, and you know what? It's not for everybody. Sometimes too, we're a business, and we tell people we have to make a profit, right? So we're not basically coming in there. I don't ever feel like we're lowballing people, And some people might, like I think this industry people think that, well, you're just lowballing people. No, we make what we consider a fair offer. And then, and the people, a lot of, obviously people agree to it because we're doing business and we're doing a lot of business. So the thing of it is it is a service, but once again, too, we say this, it's not for everybody. So if you're in a position where you want the most money, you don't, like let's just use the assisted living thing. You got mom, you have enough money to move mom out, and you have time to like clean her, go through everything and clean everything out. And maybe you live local. That's just your best option. We're going to tell you, list it with an agent. We realize there's a need for that too. There's more people selling with agents probably than with us, So we provide a service, and if it works, great. If something that will work for you, great. If it doesn't, well, we wish you luck too. Yeah. We want it to be best for everybody. It's got to be a win-win.
Is there maybe a range of percent? Like for instance, when you talk about, you buy at a discount. If the house is worth X number of dollars, you can't pay market rate because you have to pay your bills. So is there a guide or an estimate that someone could go, okay, it's going to be around whatever percent of the house value? Is that something, or is it going to be a variety of different factors that go into that, and you have to look at each?
Yeah, everything's, that's a great point you brought up, because, when I say buy at a discount, it's like, a lot of times we feel it's like kind of what the house is worth on the open market. And then it would be, maybe minus the realtor fees. So maybe 10% less than what you would get if you got quote unquote retail. So, an easy number is like, you think your house is worth 100,000, right? And we go look at it and we say, okay, well, we think you could probably sell it for 100,000. It's like, at the current condition, right? And then what happens is like, well, maybe we offer you 90,000, 10% lower. Well, if you think about it, I mean, at least here in California, you're paying 5-6% sales commission, and then there's some closing costs involved with that too, right? So, I mean, in that scenario, yeah, we are buying it for a discount, but there's benefits that come with taking, the offer that we lay on the table. And then how do I make money? Because I have to make money. I mean, I'm transparent too. Well, I make money on the upside by putting money into the house, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000. Seems like nowadays with the houses I'm doing, because let's face it, inflation and material costs and the labor shortages, I think the average, I'm putting $130,000 into these houses. I'm making it really nice. And then, so I'm betting that my bet is basically I'm going to buy it at this price, and I'm going to put money into it. Now I'm chasing the top of the market. I'm going to be chasing and the $100,000 is probably not a good scenario. I'm in Los Angeles, so it's probably $500,000. But we're adding value to these houses, and by adding that value, by me putting money into them, I have to get my return out of them. So. Yeah, every situation is different, and if you have a house that's really fixed up and it doesn't need any work, we're probably not a great fit for you.
If I were to have guessed what percent it would have been, I would have thought more in the 30 to 40% less than the market value. So I think that sounds like a very fair number. So let's shift into this. Once someone says, John, I need your help, and they've received your offer and they accept it, what happens then? So you said as fast as 7 days, but certainly you have to do some things to make sure that there's, not asbestos or the title's clear or whatever. So what are the things that you're going to do once it's accepted?
Yeah. So what happens is we have a process, and it's pretty straightforward. We do the same thing every time. So people, once the contract's accepted, we present you with a solution, so to speak, and an offer, and you sign it, and we sign it. We open escrow, and this is how it works here in California. Every state's a little different, but in California, it's an escrow state. So we open escrow with a trusted local escrow company, and they go ahead and then we use a title company too. They start running the prelim on the preliminary title report on the property. That comes back generally within like 24 hours, because we do it a lot, and we have a good relationship with our title company. So we just want to make sure they're the legal owners and everything works out. Escrow, is a neutral party between us and the seller, and they start doing all their paperwork. Now, it depends on how complicated that prelim is. If it's relatively, simple, a 7-day transaction would look like this, Mike. It would be like, you own the property, you and I sign a contract, we open escrow, we do the prelim, it comes back totally clean. You don't have any loans, you just own that thing free and clear forever, and there's no one that we need to call except basically, we verify you're the owner, and there's no lien holders, you don't have anything, on that house we have to worry about. You could buy that thing really quick. Now, yeah. I just have to do some basic paperwork. We would send someone out to you to, for a grant deed, a notary. They do all that stuff. I'm going kind of quick, but they would basically handle all that paperwork right with you, sitting there. I mean, that could be done in 7 days, but it's a fast 7 days, and most people are going to frown on it.
Yep.
That
because they'll feel pushed. Yeah. So, generally what happens is, that process still takes place, but it just takes a little longer. Maybe like 14 days is a comfortable time period. If you have if there's a loan and it needs to be cleaned up, or there's some other people if there's so some other people might need to sign as far as family members, we have to send the documents to Illinois or something to get it signed. 14 days is probably a little bit calm. Sure.
A little bit of more of a realistic goal for everybody without hitting the panic button, so to speak. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, 14 days is quick. I mean, you're not even out of your first contingency period if you're selling with an agent. So
for sure, yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Well, I think it's just really neat, the service you provide, and it sounds like a very fair structure for the percentage, and everyone's different. So if someone is listening to this thinking, well, maybe John can help me out, what's the best place that they can learn more about your business and then maybe get a quote?
Yeah, I think the best thing is you could Google me, John Medina Buys Houses. I'm in Los Angeles area, but we just expanded nationwide, so we're going to be servicing everybody. So it's John Medina Buys Houses, and I have a website. And then I encourage you too to look at my Google reviews. We have some really good reviews of people saying nice things about us, and there's just a lot of stuff out there. I mean, obviously I've done some podcasts. There's just a lot of information on me. So I would say, what we tell people too a lot is do some research on us, and you decide if you want to do business with us, because, we really appreciate our customers. And then I have an email. It's help@johnmedinabuysHouses.com if you want to reach out via email. And then the phone number is 310-928-9688, and you'll get a hold of Peggy. She's really great. She's our acquisition specialist, our salesperson, and she'll love to talk to you. She's just
awesome.
Really good at what she does.
Well, John, it was really great having you on today. I really like what you're doing, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.